All right. In your calculators, what you need to do is you need to convert your system if you're going to solve by graphing. Okay? And now it is possible that I'll ask you to sketch it on your calculators, save the screen capture or screenshot, and then embed that as a file. And so make sure you can do that. Okay? But when you're looking at this set, you need to convert your original equations into slope-intercept form. So you can either do that manually, like we did here in the red, or do you guys remember how we can use our calculators to solve it too if we want? If we use the solve key, so the algebra tab F2, type the equation exactly as it appears. So x minus y is equal to 1. And what do we want to solve for to get it into slope-intercept form? Y, so assign it to solve for y. And when you hit enter, it gives you the form. So you can either write that down, or if you want, you can move up to highlight the information and hit the green diamond and then this up arrow key to copy. So now your calculator has stored that in the clipboard. And if you go to your Y editor, so green diamond F1, if we go up and we insert this into our Y editor using green diamond and escape to paste it. And now, if you just paste it like that, what did I do wrong here? I already have a Y equals, exactly, thank you. And so what we would need to do if you pasted that is you need to delete the Y equals part of that equation and then hit enter. So you just want it, because Y1 represents the Y. Okay, and then you do the same thing for the second equation. Again, if you wanted to solve it and type the equation in, 2x plus y is equal to -4. Solve for y. Hit enter. Once again, you can copy, green diamond up arrow, paste it in our Y editor, this time in equation 2. So if we enter that, green diamond and escape to paste it, just move back and delete the Y equals part. Okay, we're able to enter both of those equations into our Y editor. Okay, once you enter it into your Y editor, what you can now do is go view the graph. Now, in order to view the graph, you want to make sure your window settings are back to that default setting. Remember, we've been doing some story problems where we might need to change these window settings. So if you hit green diamond and F2, it allows you to go back in. The defaults are -10 for the minimums and +10 for the maximums and the scales of 1. So if you change it back to those, it should be reset every time you use the online one, but if you're using your own, it might not be. But if you go to your graph, which is green diamond F3, you should be able to see where these intersect. Okay, so it graphs both of them for you. Okay, here's how you find your intersection using your calculator. Okay, so what we've done so far is you graph both equations of the system. Okay, once you graph them, what you're going to do is you're going to hit the F5 tab. And you're going to select intersection. What this is going to do is it's going to give you the point of intersection of your two curves. Now it calls them curves, it just means graphs. And now notice when you do this, you see this little number 1 up here on your graph? This refers to, this is your Y1. So this is the equation of Y1. It's asking you to select the graphs that you want to find the intersection for. So in this linear system, or in this system of equations, if you only have 2 equations in there, you shouldn't have to worry too much about this. But just, it says first curve, and you can see the arrows on it. If I want my first curve to be this line 1, so I just hit enter. Notice it changes to line 2 now, okay, or this number line 2, and it jumps, the crosshairs jump to this other equation, or this other graph. So now this graph where the crosshairs is now is my number 2 graph. So once again, if there's no distinction, if you don't have more than just the 2, you can just hit enter twice. Okay, so what you're going to do on this part is select 1 and then 2. So you're just going to choose those graphs. And then it's going to ask you for a lower bound. Okay, now, to set your lower and upper bounds, which are the next part of the directions here, okay, the lower bound means you need to pick a point to the left of the intersection. And now, you can pick a point by just scrolling over with your cursor, your directional cursor. The easier way to pick a lower bound is just to type in a number. So if you type in a number that you know falls to the left of this intersection, well, if our maximum point right here is -10, if I type in a -10, am I guaranteed that that's going to be to the left of that solution point? So that's what I would do on that, is just type in a -10. Okay, and then it asks you for the upper bound. With the upper bound, what it's asking you to do is pick a point to the right of the intersection. So once again here, you don't have to worry too much about this because there's only going to be one intersection point of these lines. If you're doing parabolas or the U shape where there's two, you have to be a little more specific with your lower and upper bounds. But for straight lines, just pick the furthest to the right point is what? In our viewing window, 10. So if you just type in 10, or again, anything to the right of it, could I have typed 0? Is the x-coordinate of 0 to the right of this intersection? Yeah, so as long as you pick any point to the right, hit enter, and then it's going to calculate the intersection for you. So now you see that our intersection is the point -1, -2. Okay. So let's take a look at how you would set this up. All right, so if we go back to our home screen, okay, so our first curve is already written in slope-intercept form, right? So if we want, we can solve our second one. If I use the equation solver on the TI, type in my equation, 2x plus 3y is equal to -3, solve for y. Hit enter, I get my equation. I can just copy this. So if I highlight it, hit green diamond, up arrow to copy, go to my y editor. Okay, I'm just going to write over the top of these. So the first one, I'm just going to type it in, -3x plus 6. That was given to me. The second one, I'm going to paste what I copied from my home screen. Oops. So if I highlight that, paste, and then delete my y equals part. So now I've entered my equation, both of my equations. I can now go back to the graph. And when I view my graph, it should show me each of the equations. So there's equation 1, and there's equation 2. If I want to find the intersection, I can follow this set of steps. F5, number 5, the intersection. And again, my first curve, you can see the crosshairs is picking my line for this top equation. And my second curve, now the crosshairs jump to this lower line. So those are my two lines. Now I want my lower bound. Is my cursor to the left of my intersection? Yeah, so I can leave it right there. I don't even need to type in -10. You can if you want, but you don't necessarily have to. Now I look at upper bound. Is this crosshairs to the right of my intersection? No, so I have to type in a number that I know is to the right of that. Easiest one is just whatever my right limit is on my viewing window. So 10 I know is over here, so it's to the right of that point. And once I hit the upper bound, it'll give me my intersection, and my solution point winds up being 3, -3. Okay, questions on that?